Riffical Records presents the East-West Vinyl Analysis with your hosts Mark Anthony Kay and Ken Keenan. Greetings, friends, and welcome to episode number 9 of the East-West Vinyl Analysis. I am one of your two hosts, Mark Anthony Kay, and with me, as always, is my good friend and fellow podcaster from the West Coast in lovely San Francisco area, California, Mr. Ken Keenan. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you? I'm glad to be back again for our newest episode.
Yes, and I'm doing a lot better now. The last couple of days, I have been swamped down by a bug. I seem to catch these things all the time, and it's really starting to get on my nerves. I'm going to go get a full blood work done because I'm starting to wonder why I'm getting them every 4 months or so. So I don't think it's anything serious, but, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
Now, I'm also thinking it could be a bit stress-related. I mean, I've been doing a lot of stuff music-wise, working on a record, putting out a vinyl, doing a bunch of other stuff, and it's one man doing it. So now I've kind of branched out, having a few people help me, so hopefully that'll ease the tensions. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but my good friend Mark Arnold has been kind of chipping in on the board there and keeping an eye on it for questions and stuff that I might miss while I was, off in La La Land trying to recover from my flu. So, but thanks to him for that, and I appreciate that very much. And let's move on and talk about some interesting things. Before we get started, anything interesting happening in your world? No illnesses or anything like that?
Knock on wood, no illnesses, just nothing. I mean, it's just keeping busy, working and other stuff. So, but nothing too exciting, I guess. Just since the last time we talked, it may have been just before or right after our last episode. I saw you too in concert.
Oh, nice.
Which was very, very impressive. The show and everything. It was entertaining. That's for sure. So, and I'm not the biggest U2 fan, and I respect them, and I like a lot of their music's pretty good. Certain songs I like, but it was an interesting and good experience.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that can't be said is that, no matter if you like the music or not, they definitely put on some top-notch shows. That's for damn sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah, great. So that's very interesting. And just before we started, I was just curious, when is that ELO show you're going to?
Oh yes, ELO. That's the one I'm really looking forward to. That is August 2nd in Oakland at Oracle Arena, and it's actually the first show of their U.S. tour.
Oh, okay. You're gonna get an interesting show because
it could be interesting to get the bugs out, or maybe there'll be an extra song in there. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting pumped. I've been listening to a lot of my ELO vinyl lately, just kind of getting myself up for that.
Getting all hyped up there.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Cool. Okay, so after our little catch up, what are we going to be discussing? Well, this month, as this is a once a month podcast, we will try to make it more than that, I promise you, but it's been busy of late, so I couldn't really do it. But this month we're going to do something interesting. We're going to take a look at 2 of our favorite box sets from our collection and 1 of our favorite test pressings from our collection. Now, these are always interesting. I know lots of people enjoy seeing these things. I know when I look online, there's people like showing box sets and stuff like that. And test pressings are something I don't see too often on there, but whenever I do see it, people usually enjoy seeing them and, hearing a little bit about them and the history and stuff like that. So hopefully we have a couple that will tickle your fancies, so to speak. So as always, I guess we will discuss here right at the beginning who will want to go first. I don't know who went first last time. Was it you or me?
I don't remember. I really don't remember.
Okay, well, then how about I go first then?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I will grab mine. I have everything nicely arranged over here.
Okay.
mainly because I've been recording and I had all my keyboard stuff on the table, so I had to move everything for the episode. So, as you can see, I have my test pressing here. This doesn't tell you anything because it is a completely blank sleeve, obviously. Most test pressings I find come like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before I pull this one out, a little bit of a backstory. So, back in the, I guess, 90s or whatever, I got really hooked into Max Webster, and I really was big on their records, and then I got really hooked on Kim Mitchell. Now, a lot of his albums became like glued in my car, whether they were cassette versions or whatever, or CD versions later on. And whenever summertime came, it was time to pull out Max Webster and Kim Mitchell stuff, because if anything, his music just epitomizes summertime for me. I mean, you know, Patio, Lanterns, and Go for a Soda, and everything that he kind of makes is all about kind of partying it up and, you know, having a good time out on the beach or somewhere in the summertime. So I was always big on his stuff, and when I started collecting vinyl again, I realized at first that it was kind of difficult to find some of his records at first. I was like, I didn't think it would be that hard to find some of them, especially ones in good copy, like good versions, right? So finally I did find some of them, and then while I was looking for Akimbo logo, which was his first actual full length, because he did an EP before that was like 4 songs or something like that, and then his first full length was Akimbo logo that had Go for a Soda, Lager and Ale, and, you know, all those songs on it. I kind of stumbled upon the test pressing of that record.
No.
And I was like, wow, okay, like that's something I never thought that I would find in my life. So of course I jumped on it, like, and I mean jumped on. I couldn't push that button hard enough on my computer when I saw it. So I went out and grabbed it, and here is the test press.
Oh yeah, I have, I think, one of those specialty, right, labels.
Yeah. And this one sounds fantastic. Like most test pressings, you know, let's put it this way. If you want to get the job at the pressing plant to make the record, you better make sure you give him a really damn good test press, because if it sounds like ass, he's going to say forget it and go to someone else, right, to do it. So it sounds really good. I mean, it also helps that if you take a good look in the dead wax there, it has the Sterling stamp, and it's obviously Sterling Sound did the master for it, and Specialty Sound pressed it. So, or Specialty Records, sorry, pressed it. So that's a winning combination in my opinion. It sounds really good. The guitars are really, you know, clear, and they're in your face, and it's, again, when I listen to this, I just picture beach and beach towels and, you know, girls running around in bikinis. It's just fantastic. I love this record. It's amazing. And really, one thing I can't help but stress is, if you like test presses, and if you have a record that's kind of connected to you that you really love, like I can say, for example, I can imagine Ken has a favorite ELO record, for example. So it would be, I wouldn't be surprised if he would look occasionally online for maybe to see if there's a test press of those records, because those records are the ones that you would be maybe willing to go that extra mile to find, because they're special to you. And I find that when you find a good test pressing, it's almost, in my opinion, better than getting a first press of a record, because, like I said, these are the ones that people are trying to convince the artist to go ahead and use their company to press the mass quantity of the record. So I really like this pressing. It sounds good. And I'll tell you, because Kim Mitchell isn't like Prince or something like that, it didn't cost me a 2 legs and a testicle to buy it.
Right.
I was able to get it for like under $20, believe it or not.
That's pretty good.
So I was very happy about that, and I grabbed that up, and you know, I listened to it. I try not to listen to it all the time because I don't want to wear it out. I do put on my Canadian first press of this record on other times when I need to, and in the car, obviously, it's the CD, because I don't know any company that has a vinyl playing system in a car yet that's effective. So until that time, we will use CDs. So I really like that. I love the way it turned out, and that for me is probably one of my favorite, if not probably my right now my top favorite test pressing, or even over my Van Halen one test press, mainly because this record, believe it or not, has a little bit more good memories connected to it because of my summers and stuff like that. This was the soundtrack of those times.
So that test pressing was from 85, right? You said?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And how's the? I mean, I agree with you that it probably is or could be better than the first pressing, or even a promo pressing of the albums. And the other thing is, it's probably been played. Usually, test pressings are played maybe once before, and that's it. So they're not going to have a lot of replays on them, and it's not used for playing over and over and over and over.
Not a lot of wear on it.
Yeah, it's not, the wear is not there. So it's going to sound pretty clean, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I agree 100%.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good pick.
Yeah.
And good story on that one.
I'm very curious to see what you have.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of interesting because you mentioned. This is interesting because you mentioned Van Halen. And I don't know what year your Van Halen test pressing is. What year was your?
That was 79, 78, 79.
Probably 70. The first album, was it
78? I think is.
I thought it was 77, but anyway, I could be wrong. 78. It might be 78 actually. But anyway, so this one, and again, it's like yours, plain white. And actually it says here, actually has a date stamp on the top corner here. It actually says September.
Oh, okay, yeah. 1998.
Yeah, September 15th, 1998. It says LPZ 266A/B, whatever, right? That's all it says. So we'll pull it out here. This one is Van Halen, also first album. But this is 20 years later than yours.
Oh, wow.
This is 98. Okay. And this one was the remaster from the original tapes.
Oh, nice.
By Steve Hoffman.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And this is pressed. Actually, they only have the label on one side. It was pressed at RTI.
Good place.
Yeah. So there they go.
Wow.
Yeah. And the other side actually is just blank on this one. So, this one, I mean, Van Halen 1 is probably my favorite Van Halen album, I have to say. It is just great. And this thing, I got it recently. It was a little pricey. It was on kind of sale, I guess you could say it was, but it was still kind of, not cheap.
Yeah.
But man, this thing sounds fantastic. And when putting a needle on it, it's so quiet. I can hear. I would think RTI has I think a reputation for being maybe the best or one of the best pressing plants out there, right? So this is just a great sounding. You can't go wrong with Van Halen. Most Van Halen, at least for sure, the David Lee Roth era, and especially this one, which is the one that started it all off. And it's again, and I think the pressing just sounds great. I haven't really done a compare. I want to go compare next to each other. I know I can sell a little bit different sonics, not too much, but I need to do it right next to each other and see how it sounds. But I listened to it through once, and it just sounded great. So I was glad I got it. And this is a 200. I believe this is a 200 weight gram.
Yeah.
Yeah, record on this one. because it's heavier, and that's I think what they pressed the first pressing on when they did the remaster. So
when they did those first batch of remasters, was that what it came from then?
Yeah, it is. Well, wait a minute. Let me think about that.
Because sometimes they do these kind of things, and sometimes they don't necessarily maybe go with, let's say, Steve Hoffman. They might go with somebody else, and then he does it, and they go with that one.
Right. I think this was the special 1998 was a one-off kind of thing.
Okay.
I think just that album. I believe I'll have to go look it up, but I think later on, then they did another remaster and release too, which I don't think is the same as that. This was I think a limited. Maybe
wow,
release.
So that's even better for you then.
I think it was. I don't think they made press that many. I have to do more research on it, but I believe it's not part of those original masters. It's not, because they didn't really do that until the vinyl started craze started picking up, which was into the 2000s, right? In mid to late 2000s, I think those other Van Halen ones came out. So yeah, I think this is a standalone.
It'd be interesting if we ever meet sometime. I should bring over my my version of it and have yours, and we should do a spin comparison and see what they said, the differences in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll do it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, because I'd love to hear. There will be obviously a difference, because sure. the one I have is the one that they didn't know it was even going to become a gold record, let alone a 10-time platinum record at that point.
Yeah.
They just made it the way they made it and sent it out into the world. And Hoffman, when he did it, obviously he was a big, well-known name and respected name. Mm-hmm. So obviously when they went to make this special edition version of it, they already had he already had some pressure to kind of make it at least equal, if not better, if you're going to do a reissue, right?
Yeah.
So it's very, very interesting to think what it could sound like. I mean, I've obviously never heard it, neither the release nor the test pressing. So, it'd be interesting to hear it sometime.
And it's only I only have 2 other test pressings.
I only have a couple too.
Yeah. I mean, that's one there. The other 2 were Neil Sedaka test pressings from, the 70s. I think one was 70. Were they both 70s? Maybe one 70s and one 80s. But that's it. And I got those for a lot less. Like your Max Webster, it was like $20 or something like that. So, but that's it. I mean, I look out for them. I don't find a lot of hope in finding like ELO or whatever. But if I see it, I may buy it if it's not. Doesn't cost too much.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I just recently got a test press that might interest you. I got a Steve Miller record test press.
Oh, really?
And I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the album. You'll probably know right away when I say this, but the side 2 of it is a one long song, Macho something or
Macho City, I think it's.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that is. What record is that?
I don't remember the title of it, but it's really good. The first side.
Yeah. So that's interesting that you got that. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I like his guitar playing. It's really bluesy, and it's interesting. That's
his background, blues and the blues. That's where he learned a lot of his stuff playing that. And he's very good guitar player.
Great. All right, so obviously we're off to a rock and rollin' start with our test presses.
Yes.
So let's move on to our 2 favorite, box sets. Now, obviously, just like with everything, what our favorite is today could change next week or tomorrow or whatever, right? But as of right now, these are our favorites. And my first one, to anybody who knows me, will not be a surprise whatsoever. Once I show it, I'm sure Ken already has an idea what it could possibly be. But let's take a look at it and go through it in a little bit of detail for those of you who have never seen it in detail. And I'm talking about the debut Rush record that got released. And they did a really, really cool job on this, I thought. I thought this is one of the best And one of the things that really bothers me though is that when this came out, I thought to myself, great, next one's going to be Fly By Night. Next one's going to be Crest of Steel. Yeah, they're going to be releasing it in this kind of style, and no, they didn't. They just did this, and then they just started doing these other. They just re-released stuff on CD, and I was like, well, what the hell's going on? Why didn't they do these expanded versions? And now I'll show you why I got upset about it, because I mean, take a look. First, you open it, and you have that kind of,
copy of the tape. Yeah.
Yeah, you have that. That's the cover. Then inside you have this kind of a deal thing, and in the back of it, it just gives you information on it, like how it's a direct metal master there. You can see there, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you all the kind of little information on it, right? So that's cool. And then they give you this here, which I'll show you really quickly. It's a nice kind of promotional poster.
Yeah, that's cool.
That came with it, right?
Nice. So
you can see where my excitement is already, starting to bubble when I go through this. I'm like, oh, right, so this is, this is just a start, And then you have a little 8x10s or 5x7s that they give you here. Obviously, I'm sure that when they did the actual sort of press kits, they were bigger photos than this, but just for the sake of keeping it more economically feasible for people, they probably just kept it on this size. But I'm really like these. These are very cool. And of course, me being an avid Rush fan, I try to keep these in tip-top shape, right?
Yes.
So that's that there too, and then they give you this, which I thought was kind of cool as well. I can get this open. It's in such good shape, I can barely even get it open. Or do you even open it, or is it just like that? I guess it's just like that. It's the family tree. And then when you flip it over on the other side, you have the tree.
Nice. Right? Yeah.
Now the pièce de résistance, I guess you would say, is here, which is the actual record.
I know.
Now they tried to do an exact recreation of the Moon Records version of it, because you see down here on my finger that's the Moon Records emblem for it. Now if you go online and try to find an actual Moon Records pressing of this, you're looking at least $250 at least for this copy, and I mean, it's unbelievable. I don't even have a copy of this yet, but this is a really fantastic version of it. I mean, I have no complaints at all on this.
It is Moon Records.
Both sides. This is a 200-gram record too.
Right.
Now the interesting thing is the original serial number was MN100, and when you look at the serial number on here, it is, I'm pretty sure, in here etched. I can't see, it's kind of dark right in my room, but yeah, MN100A. So,
okay, yeah.
I'm guessing that they must have access to the original still, obviously, right, to make a sort of I'm not sure if it's an exact analog thing of it, or if they made a digital backup of it and then made the copies or not. All I can say though is that until I have a actual Moon Records copy of this record, this will do nicely. It sounds good. I also have I have a Canadian second press of this record that sounds really good. It was done by Gilbert Kong, mastered. Sounds really good, nice and in your face, and one of those things where you had the neighbors hitting the wall, say, "Hey, turn it down," kind of pressing,
Yes.
So that's that, and it's ironic though, that when we were talking about test pressings before, I just took a look in here and I just realized that at the bottom of my box here I have my Van Halen there stored in here as well. So I guess I'm keeping it for safekeeping in here, just so that it's out of people's eyes. There you can see that there's
nice. Yeah.
And the last thing, obviously, when you look at the bottom of the boxes, that they have the information here once again,
the master,
like
the
master
box. Yeah.
So this was actually, to be all truth be told, this was actually my very, very first box that I actually got on vinyl, you know, and what a way to start. And again, it gives me kind of mixed feelings, mainly because of those things that I mentioned before, because I thought when I got this, you know, great, this is awesome. I'm going to be, you know, expecting to see one of these per every record that they made, and maybe they can make a, you know, box like this for everything. And, you know, that is not the case, unfortunately.
No, I think they switched up and then decided to do more of the popular kind of stuff. So when they did the, you know, the 2112 box set and Farewell to Kings and so yeah, we'll see what they do next.
They also did like some versions of it on like CD versions of it. And you know what? And I've been saying this a lot lately, is that I am not one to poo-poo CD at all. I like CD format, and I think that it has a lot of relevance still. In fact, you know, I know that you're a big listener to the Vinyl Guide podcast.
Yes.
They had, I don't know if you caught that episode with Jocko Jaksic when he was on. They're talking about remastering, like, you know, the Jethro Tull stuff and stuff like that. And he even said it himself that in a lot of ways he prefers CD over vinyl for a lot of the different audio things that you can do more than you can do with vinyl. But that's neither here nor there.
Right.
I'm just saying that because it just kind of came up just now. But that's my first pick of my box set. So I'm very curious to see what you have, my friend.
Well, that was a good pick. Let's see. I'll reach it now. All right. So last year was like yours right there. Yours was a 40th anniversary of Rush, the first album. This one came out end of last year. Is a 40th anniversary of Queen.
Oh,
News of the World album.
Very nice.
And boy, they went all out on this thing.
I'm very curious to see this.
It has, I mean, first of all, what it has is the vinyl is a new pure analog cut of the vinyl. Side one, side two. So I'll show you that. They also came with the CD, the 2001 Bob Ludwig master.
Oh, nice.
From 2011 on CD. Okay. And then CD 2, they have News of the World Raw Sessions, which is like the same album. It's all the same songs, 1 through 11, but they're alternate versions. And some of these are really interesting. Hearing rock, like, you know, We Will Rock You is a little bit different. They change it up, the tempo of some of this stuff. It's very interesting to listen to what the possible other choice would have been over the one that got on the album. So it's really, really cool. And then CD 3, you have a News of the World bonus tracks, which has some other songs that weren't on the album, and maybe some BBC sessions, backing tracks, instrumental, some live stuff on there too. It's like 19 songs on that CD. And then, to top it off, there's a DVD.
Oh, nice.
Which was a special Queen, The American Dream, which was produced way back at that time during the recording of that, and it shows them in the studio.
Nice.
So, which is cool. And that's a 56-minute DVD, and it's cool to watch that. It was pretty good. So, and I'll just pull out some of the stuff here that's in this.
Great.
So you pull it out like yours. It has front, but the inside it has kind of the little pictures of that.
Oh yeah, robot guy,
monster guy. On there. Let's see here. So much stuff in here, and then we have our. This is the vinyl here.
Very nice.
And this is a gatefold, like the original gatefold. Reaching down.
I love that.
To snatch the guys. And, you know, the backside, he's holding the band members, and then one of them falling down. But so the actual vinyl itself, I'll pull that out. So like you, on the Rush thing, here's
Oh, nice. SARM, yeah.
the tape box and all the
Very
writing
nice.
on it. The track listing has the speed, the date, like here 9/16/77.
Mm.
It's dated. So, and then the vinyl is different than the original.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's the label. So,
Very nice.
yeah. So it sounds great too. It's like the Van Halen one. It sounds really darn good. They did a great job on the mastering of it. So that's that. The vinyl. What else came in it? Like I said, all those other things. And it's gonna use this one of those, ribbon things to pull out.
Oh, yeah.
Lift up the because part of it is there's so much in this thing. This is a little thing that has. I think it has to do with the artwork and stuff. I'm not gonna pull everything out, but there's a ton of stuff like a pass and the other stuff in here.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
It's just a ton of stuff. A poster that folds out. It's just. I
Like
mean,
a bio and press stuff.
they went, yeah. They went all out on this stuff. With just so much, including a book.
Oh,
too.
cool.
So you got a book. It's about that thick there, but it's cool. Let's see here.
Any
the
studio
stuff
shots in there?
I think it does. Let's see. There's some stuff there. Let me see if I have something. I have. Yeah. This was rehearsals for the tour picture kind of thing.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. More artwork or a billboard that they had up. That's like over a highway. More tour stuff on this. Okay, I have 2 studio shots in this one here. It's all live stuff from what I can tell here.
It's probably promoting a tour, yeah.
Mostly live pictures and stuff. I'm not seeing the studio unless it's towards the end. But the back side of the book is where. Gosh, here we go. Got it. The CDs and the DVD are in here in the back. So
It's very nice.
it's a nice collection. So that's all of it. I mean, like I said, that other little pack has all kinds of stuff and promo, kind of the write-up about, press kit kind of stuff for the album. It's really, really, really cool. So that was what I got last year, because I do have this. The only other copy I have of this album is a vinyl, is the promo. I have a promo copy of it.
Oh, nice. Really?
Which is good. Yeah, which I found by luck, because I haven't seen another one around, and it wasn't too pricey. So, fortunately, but I haven't compared that either in sound. But yeah, this is a really good one. They really did a great job on that. So it'd be interesting if they do some more. I think they will. So that's my first box pick.
Wow. Very, very nice. And I mean, being a fan of Queen myself, especially, I consider myself a Queen fan from album 1 to about.
Oh, really?
I think. What would be honest? I think around jazz, I kind of started to trail off a bit.
That's interesting.
With them.
I started.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was gonna say I like my favorite Queen record, hands down, is Queen 2. Like, I love that record. I have it on CD. I have it on vinyl. I'm a little burnt out on Night at the Opera because it's been so overhyped and relooked at.
It's a good.
It's a great record. Don't get me wrong, right? And then Day at the Races to me is almost like a companion record to it. It's almost like the same thing, but like take 2 almost of it. But this record is one that really caught my attention. It's in my top 3 actually of Queen records, because they kind of did one of these things where they were like, you know what? let's stop with the 20 million overdubs. Let's go back to something a little bit more basic and raw and rockin'.
Yeah.
And it's a great record. I think it sounds fantastic. And, the fact that they did a beautiful reissue of it from the original tapes is great. And this is one of those reissues that I feel confident in knowing that it is from the tapes, because as I mentioned earlier about the vinyl guide, they also had their archivist,
yes, they
Queen's
did.
archivist on, and he talked about having their stuff in tip-top condition, and he's constantly watching over it and stuff. So
Yes.
and he's still looking for stuff all the time, like, and catching up and finding stuff all over the globe that people have in their collections of stuff. So, when they say that they're taking it from an actual analog source, I feel confident knowing that it is, which you can't say with most bands, right? So, great pick.
Yeah, that was my. You came in, I guess, like you said, your period of Queen is a little earlier. You like the earlier stuff. I like the period of. I do like Night at the Opera. Though I did my first actual Queen album I got though was jazz. It's funny.
Oh, really? Eh?
Yeah, it was the first one I got, but then I went back and got Night at the Opera. Which I already knew Bohemian Rhapsody, my best friend or whatever, which I liked anyway, and that's just a great album. But then I just kind of skipped the Day at the Races, but I had News of the World, and then of course the Game, and then they started to fall off for me a little bit after that, but. So I'm in that core period, like the mid period, I guess you could say, for them. Yeah. So those. Are
I think though my last really great Queen album that I liked, that I enjoyed, and my friend actually, who was the drummer in my other band before, got me hooked on it because his older brother was a huge Queen guy. He had everything, and when this album came out, I remember being in his house and he's like, "Hey, check this out," and it was Innuendo. Oh, yeah. And I really liked that record. And I mean, being a big Yes fan too, years later realizing that Steve Howe does the Spanish guitar part in Innuendo, I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that years ago that that's him playing that. Wow. Right? So great stuff. I mean, it's a great. Queen has those guys have great albums no matter what. Just for me, just like with you have albums that you prefer over the others.
Exactly.
For me, it's the first batch that I like the most, and there's neither right or wrong to that, right? So
that's correct.
Okay, so excellent choice, and now I will go on to my next one. Now, let me preface my next pick by saying this is a record store day find. And just barely found it. It was one of those things. It wasn't this year's. It was the year before. I went out to the record store. I knew they were going to supposedly have this, but I was already warned that he was only going to have maybe 3 copies if he was lucky of this certain box. And I was like, oh God, please. I got in there and the place was rammed. I'm looking around and people are just, elbowing their way in and trying to get stuff. And I'm like, great, there's no way in hell I'm going to find this thing. And then the owner's wife, she's a sweetheart. She's a really nice lady, and she saw me. She said, "Oh, Mark, did you find everything that you were looking for?" And I go, "So far so good, but I'm still looking for one thing." And she goes, "What are you looking for?" And I mentioned what I was looking for, and she said, "I shouldn't say anything." It would show favoritism over the customers that are there hunting, and they were all about that. They didn't tell people on the phone if they had stuff. They wouldn't do anything on that day. It's like, it's up to you to find it. So I'm sitting there going by the racks, they're looking at stuff, and every once in a while she would have her coffee and she'd peek up and look at me, and then she would start doing this. She'd start going. And like, okay, so I'd start going a bit over more, and then when I got close, she'd be like, and so I'd stop, and I'd go looking through, and I was like, oh my God, and I found it, and I was like, I almost dropped to one knee, like in joy that I found it, and I'll show you what it is.
Okay.
Now, you may not recognize it from what I first show it to you.
No, I don't recognize it, no.
This is the David Bowie box set that came out in last year's record store day.
Okay.
And it was the demo that he did when I believe when he was about to do Hunky Dory. Now this is a big thing that on the internet people were looking for, and when you can find it, it was really, really
Expensive,
pricey because
probably.
the original version of it had David Bowie on one side of this album, and on the other side was another artist, because the management firm was pushing both artists to various record labels. And so it was called the David Bowie promo, and it's really weirdly written on there. It's like David Bow Wow Pow Wow. It's like some weird thing on there, right? And so I'll show you what's in it. And it's really, really fantastic collection. Now, here's the record.
Yeah.
Now,
Queen.
it has Oh You Pretty Thing, 8-line poem. It has Kooks. It has It Ain't Easy, Queen Bitch, Quicksand, and Bombers. Now, none of these are the versions that are on the record. None of them. These are all early versions, early mixes that were done that they didn't like. This is like his demo reel that was sent out to record companies. So none of this is final stuff. So it's interesting to hear these versions of the song. It's like how you're talking about with your Queen thing there, where they had different versions of those songs.
Yeah.
Now the funny thing on this is when you flip the side of the record, it's nothing. It's a completely blank album.
Is it like it's just a clean?
Yeah, it's a clean. That's absolutely nothing on it.
That's one side you can use that for. You can use that for your tracking on your turntable. So as a testing, you're tracking. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. So that's cool that they did that in keeping with the idea that the other side was another artist.
An artist, yeah. Why put him on for this though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the great thing about this that I loved, because I kept hearing things and rumors about this when it first came out, or they were never going to release it, was I'll just go through this really quickly. When you first open it, it came in this green tissue paper. See, there's a little sticker here.
Right. Yeah. Like it held it together, right?
Yeah, so everything was in this tissue paper wrapping.
Huh?
Now, what was inside there, you ask? Okay, so here's what was in there. So they had this, which was the kind of handwritten sleeve that would have been given.
Rough mix, yeah.
Yeah, right. David Bowie, and it has like that there. Now, this is really cool. They have in here a sort of story about how this all went about.
Okay.
So it has like a complete story on it in here. Yeah, Dana Gillespie was the other artist that's on there. That was on the other side of it, right? Yeah, so on side A, the Matrix is Bo Promo 1A1, and on side B was Bo Promo 1B2. This is how the album came to be known as Bo Promo, because it's the way that it was written out, right? And then on the next page, they go through each song and tell you the differences between what was the final versions on the record and this version, right? So, like, really quickly, they'll say, It Ain't Easy, for example. They'll say, identical to the version that appears on the Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders of Mars. So that version didn't change from that to that. And then say, Queen Bitch. This version lacks the reverb on the vocals, but has added to it Mick Ronson's extra guitar riff. The Bowie this version also has a hum at the very end of it, like he sings something different at the end of it. Right, and it says here too, like Quicksand. The intro to the Hunky Dory version is in mono and only expands into stereo at 51 seconds of the song. The intro on this version is in full stereo from the very beginning. So you see what I mean? There's different little things about that on here, right?
Yeah,
so those are the kind of things that I'm a complete sucker for, right? And then on the last page, it has more like sort of can you see the? Sorry, there you go.
Yeah.
It has more of like the actual credits and who did what and so on and so forth. And the last thing that they had in there, which is really cool, they give you this envelope.
Cool.
Okay, now when you open it, So when you open it up, you're like, okay, so what's all this? So you go in there, pop in there, and I was like, wow, okay, so this is where all the coin came in, because it's really nice, glossy
nice. Yeah.
pictures from that time period. And I mean, honestly, I'm almost up to thinking that I might go and buy myself a couple of really nice picture frames and put these in, because
they're really, really nice.
They're like top quality. Like this is like actually like they came from a
very glossy,
like a photo place,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So you got that. I'll just go through them
very
quickly.
Cool. Nice.
And I mean, and I'll let it be known, my big attraction to David Bowie, as not only as a musician, and I think he's a great musician. That's all the photos. So I'll put them back.
Okay.
But that he's a great songwriter. I love him, and he's a good singer. I like his singing style. He had a very much a voice of his own. But the main thing that drew me to David Bowie was I loved Mick Ronson, their guitar player.
Yeah.
To me, he was one of my influences on guitar, believe it or not. I really love his playing, his style. He has such a swagger to his playing when he does stuff like Suffragette City and Ziggy Stardust and all those songs. They're just like, you can tell it's him just bashing away on the Les Paul there. When he's playing. And the funny thing is, and I don't know how many people are aware of this, but Mick Ronson was an absolutely huge influence on Randy Rhoads. If you take a look at Randy Rhoads, the way he looks, he has similar hair to him.
Yeah,
he dressed a lot of the same way. The polka dot thing that Randy Rhoads thing came from Mick Ronson.
Interesting.
And the same cream-colored Les Paul came from Mick Ronson. So,
oh wow, didn't know that.
It's interesting because most people were saying, Randy Rhoads, he wasn't influenced by any sort of contemporary artist. He was his own thing. Nah, that's a bunch of hooey. He was very much influenced by Mick Ronson on guitar. Sure, he's a little bit more classically trained Randy Rhoads, and he has more of that in his playing. But when he goes down into his kind of bluesy play, like No Bone Movies and stuff like that, you can hear Mick Ronson start coming out of him a bit on that.
Interesting.
So this was definitely on the top of my list as one of my favorite box sets. It's so nice. Good. I mean, listening to those different versions, I mean, that's what I kind of look for. And the funny thing is, they didn't make too many of these, so I know you can probably find them online on Discogs, but they're getting pretty starting to go up. So if that's of something of interest for people out there, seek it out now more than later. So
yeah, well,
there you go. That's my second pick.
That's a good pick. I was gonna say, I think there's a documentary. I thought I caught part of it, but about Mick Ronson. Isn't there one? I know I saw some of it. Had to do with Bowie. Part of a Bowie, but they focus a lot on Mick Ronson on it too, which was I remember interesting because I didn't know much about him really, otherwise. So, but yeah, that's something to look out for too. So yeah, good pick.
Great. Now let us see what is behind door number 3 for Mr. Ken Keenan.
All right, so this is something. This box set I got maybe last year or year before. Though it came out, I think it came out, I want to say late 90s. And it's a Japanese release, and what it is, and I'll show you the outside because I picked this off already. But it has an OB, this is its OB sticker of this, that this box set fits into. And obviously it says, well, it does say Kiss on there.
Wow.
But this is the deal. It's very heavy. Oh, God. Because it's this, thick here.
Wow.
But anyway, here it is. It's the original 74 to 79. Yeah. It's something I didn't know about until later on. Obviously, I wasn't collecting vinyl at the time until, maybe 5 years ago I started getting back into it, right? So I didn't have this, and I found out, this box set was out, but it was limited release. But it has all the Kiss albums that were, 74 to 79, excluding the solo albums.
Mm-hmm.
So it has all, it has Alive is still on there, and Alive 2, and then it has all the regular Kiss albums: Kiss, Hotter Than Hell, Just to Kill, Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, Love Gun, and all the way through Dynasty. And I don't know, does it actually say the date on here? 98. It's like 98 was my my other one, right? The test pressing. But so the other cool thing about this box set is, Japanese, they throw in a couple extra things in it. But so here's like they actually have like the Alive kind of cards that were in the Alive.
Oh yeah.
The original Alive album.
The originals, right?
Yeah, the originals. Not the Alive album, but the originals. And then this is like a sticker sheet kind of.
Oh, cool.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
that looks like the singles, the Japanese singles.
Yes, it does look like they're all singles. You're correct. That is the singles, isn't it? So yeah, it's a picture of all those, or stickers of all those. Then it has our here's the booklet, which is actually the lyrics, and it has some pictures in here too. Yeah. So it has the Japanese version of the Japanese lyrics, and then the Japanese version of the lyrics. But they did a pretty good job on most of the lyrics, I think, and getting it right.
Okay,
sometimes
that's good.
Sometimes it's funny. It does write a little bit of stuff down. So, for instance, like your favorite album, Destroyer, right?
God.
It says something about this is like a news thing or something. Oh no, it actually has the text for that beginning intro part of the news.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it says congressional reports. President Ford says that he's disappointed with Congress's performance. And then it says, in Detroit, a Pontiac, Michigan youth was reported dead at the scene of the, it has the whole thing there. So they actually went that far. And then you got there's some photos in here that you don't see every day. There's there's a good one of Gene spitting blood and
nice.
Some more. So that's a cool little booklet. Besides just having, this one's a real good one here in the center.
Nice. That's the money shot.
Yeah, the money shot. Live stage with everything going off. Kind of like, almost like a Live 2. So it has a lot of pictures in here too, along with the lyrics. So that's cool. I'll put that over here. So the other cool thing about it is just, all the albums, they did a nice reproduction. Japanese quality. The cardboard of these things are very thicker than any other country, right? I mean, this is heavy thickness still, and this is 98, and they're still doing it. So the other cool thing about it is all these albums are colored vinyl, and each one is a different color. It comes in this kind of the plastic kind of sleeve. Yep. And here's what the labels look like. This, so that shows the back. Actually, that's the back of what their first album looked like on that picture. And then flip it over. This is kind of like purplish, bluish, purplish kind of color. I guess more blue. And there's the
nice.
Yeah. So they're all like this, but except the colors change. Each one of them are a different color vinyl, and they, in Japan they press, it's quality pressings that they do. They're very quiet and they sound good. So, and that is it. I mean, it's not. If you go out there and try to find this, it's very expensive. Very expensive. If you're lucky, you'll get it for. If you're lucky, I don't know. The least I've seen it go for lately was something like maybe $700 at the lowest dollars.
Yikes!
I got it fortunately for less, because I dug around deeper through the, you want to call it the interwebs, or what do you want to call it?
Yeah.
To find a good quality one. This is in great shape for, less. It was still expensive, but it was less,
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad. It's kind of one of my, I guess, prized Kiss collections of albums, out there.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Wow,
So,
that's quite the hefty investment.
It's heavy too. It's heavy, You drop it on my. I'm worried to drop on my foot. I'm gonna break my toes or something. It's so heavy.
Well, that always gives now the kind of question, that people always talk about within the Kiss community is that, why don't Kiss make these kind of things now? I mean, they made a box like that back then in '98.
That's Japan. Why don't? And that wasn't released for United States. It was a Japan release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't they make something like that now? Similarly, like how they, we both each showed an example of what you can do with a single record. Like you did News of the World, I did, the Bowie one and stuff, or the Rush one, and they could do that easily with the Kiss back catalog, and make many Kiss fans happy, and many bean counters for Universal Music happy as well. I'm sure with it, right?
Yeah.
So
they do it right, they'd make a lot of money.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a fantastic pick. And just really quickly, just to make a note, I know we talk about vinyl a lot on here too, but it's interesting to make note that there's a lot of also good CD box sets that are out there as well. I'm seeing over your shoulder you have the Beatles one on their shelf there.
Oh yeah.
Which is a really good one. And a couple of other ones of note that I know that I like, for example, is I have this Whitesnake box of little box of snakes. It's basically all the records from their period before they went on to Geffen Records. So their very first EP to, I believe, the last record they did with that was Saints and Sinners.
Okay.
Is the last record. So it's funny when you open it in there, it just gives you like just like little vinyl examples of the records, right? So it's like they're all in like the miniature vinyl versions, right?
Yeah, okay. So similarly to yours, so I just recently got the Def Leppard one.
Oh, nice.
Box.
Look at that.
And it has a little book, and it has, again, like you, there, it has the, has some real stuff too, but, it has, like the single, there's Pyromania, So.
Very cool.
Same type of thing. There's, CDs are still good, like you say. They're great because I like to have it something tangible, first of all,
Yeah.
I don't like it just a file, but tangible. I can put this into a file, so I have the real original artwork and all that stuff, and then you load it to your computer and then put it on in your car or whatever you're on iTunes and that sort of stuff to listen to. You record it from that. You're going to always have it. So you can't go wrong.
There's this one I'm sure I showed you earlier, and if you look at this one, you pull that one out, right? Mm-hmm. And has everything in here on the side.
Yeah.
And again, it's the idea is the same kind of thing. Here's like, for example, Diamond Dogs, which is like it's like a miniature vinyl version of it.
Yeah.
It even does the kind of gatefold in it.
Oh yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And the great thing too is that they even do these kind of miniature vinyl sleeves for them.
Nice.
And when you take it out, it gives you the album like how it is.
Like the center label. Yeah.
Yeah, like the center label was.
Yeah, I like that.
And what's great too, if you take a look here really quickly, if you just let me humor you for a second, is that in amongst all this too, just like on your one there, on your Def Leppard one, this comes with a book as well, right?
Yep.
So you open it and it goes through each record and it has like pictures and stuff.
Nice.
And discussions about each thing. There's articles and stuff. So it's really in depth. And so I'm just, the reason why I'm showing this, and I'm sure it's the same reason why Ken showed his too, is that don't discount CDs. I think it's a shame to do that because CDs are still, in my opinion, a more than useful source to do stuff. I mean, one last thing. Here's my Yes box, which is this is the Progeny, which has the concerts that were done in 1972 that made the Yes shows or Yes songs album.
Yes songs.
So these are all the full concerts in there, right? And even has Maple Leaf Gardens, and again, it comes in kind of like a Roger Dean thing with the gatefold that has all the songs on here. And it's funny because every show they played the same set list on this, but the differences in their performances is unbelievable. Some nights they extended solos, they didn't extend it. Sometimes they did something different. So it's kind of cool seeing it. So, and I mean, that's the kind of thing that you can do on CD, like, put 8 shows on it and release it. If you were to do that on vinyl, you would looking at like $1,200 or something to release something like that, because they did release a best of Progeny, that's what it's called, Progeny, that came out on 3 LPs that I got, and that was pricey. Basically what they did is they made one entire show, but one song from each show to consist of one show. So there you go, right? But yeah, it's, look, we love vinyl, we're talking about vinyl, and we're going to continue to talk about vinyl. I'm just saying that in the box set scheme of things, sometimes it's not a shame, or it's not a step backwards, in my opinion, to get something on CD over to vinyl, because sometimes it's just more affordable, and it's not necessarily going to sound terrible to get it on CD.
Yeah, and it's more affordable on CD. It's a little bit easier to get on to your electronic device than recording it from vinyl to your computer or whatever. But I like the way they're doing. Some of these artists now are doing more attention to detail on how they produce those. Like you said, like the one you showed where that has the center label from the Bowie, the Bowie album. That kind of stuff is cool. You're recreating as much as you can the image or the product that was originally released. And very cool.
Yeah. So there you go. I think we went pretty in depth this time with our box sets and our test press. So if you let us know what your favorite test presses are, or your favorite box sets, leave your comments below, and I'm sure that we'll be back again very soon with another topic of discussion. And so until then, this is Mark Anthony K on behalf of Mr. Ken Keenan saying thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now.